Hello everyone, welcome to Topic of. This is our Sunday edition where we bring to you the places that have been in news lately. Let's begin our today's edition with the very first place as Turkmenistan. Recently, our president paid a visit to Turkmenistan and the Netherlands. First of all, let us locate Turkmenistan on map. Now, if you see in the map, Central Asian countries are highlighted and Turkmenistan is a part of the Central Asian region. When we talk about Central Asia, there are 5 countries that are part of Central Asia and all these countries are considered to be landlocked. First of all, if you see, we have Kazakhstan, we have Uzbekistan, we have Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan and Turkmenistan. Now these countries do not share direct boundary with ocean, and in fact Kazakhstan and Turkmenistan share a boundary with the Caspian Sea, but Caspian Sea itself is landlocked. Therefore, in general, we can say that all 5 of the Central Asian countries are landlocked. Now, if you consider Uzbekistan, this is a country which is known to be doubly landlocked. That means this country itself is landlocked and is surrounded by countries that are also landlocked. Now, if you talk about the capitals of these regions, first of all, Kazakhstan, we have the capital as Nur Sultan. It is situated somewhere around here, Nur Sultan. The capital Astana was renamed as Nur Sultan back in 2019 after their former president Nur Sultan Nazarbayev. For Kyrgyzstan, we have Bishkek. Uzbekistan, we have Tashkent, Tajikistan, Dushanbe, and Turkmenistan as Ashkabad. Now, sometimes it is also asked to arrange the capital in a particular order. If we talk about the capitals of these regions, we have Nur Sultan, Bishkek, Tashkent, we have Dushanbe, and then Ashkabad. So we have the capital of Turkmenistan, that is Ashkabad, to be the southernmost. Also, the Xinjiang region of China borders 3 of these nations: Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan. And if we talk about Afghanistan, it also shares boundary with 3 of the nations, that is Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan. Now, if you see this region around here, this is known as the Wakhan corridor or the Wakhan tract. This is a narrow strip of around 15 kilometer which joins the Pakistan occupied Kashmir or the Gilgit-Baltistan region of Pakistan occupied Kashmir to Tajikistan. And if we talk about the water bodies in this region, we have the major water bodies as Caspian Sea. Caspian Sea has direct boundary with Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Iran, Azerbaijan and Russia. We have the Aral Sea that is shared between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. And then to the east of Aral Sea, we have Lake Balkhash in Kazakhstan. Now, recently, earlier this year, the India Central Asia Summit took place in a virtual mode and Delhi Declaration was signed in that summit. So, there's a port called Turkmenbashi in Turkmenistan that opens into the Caspian Sea. So, our Prime Minister has mentioned in the recent developments to connect this port with the International North-South Transport Corridor or the INSTC. The International North-South Transport Corridor is around 7,200 kilometers. Is a multimodal network of ship, railways and road route for movement of goods between India, Afghanistan, Iran, Azerbaijan to Russia and the Central Asian countries. The INSTC also synchronizes with the Ashkabad Agreement, that is also a multimodal transport agreement facilitating transportation of goods between the Central Asia region, Gulf, India, etc. Now, some interesting facts. If we talk about Ashkabad, it is also known as the Marble City of the world, and it is named in the Guinness Book of World Records for having most white marble-clad buildings in the world. The capital of Turkmenistan, that is Ashkabad. Now, if we talk about Turkmenistan in particular, we can see the map of Turkmenistan, and it is surrounded by countries like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and Kazakhstan is the biggest amongst the Central Asian nations. We have Iran, we have Afghanistan, and then we have the Caspian Sea. So historically, Turkmenistan was inhabited by Indo-Iranians, and after its independence from the Soviet Union in 1991, the sovereign state of Turkmenistan has been ruled by 3 repressive totalitarian regimes. And Turkmenistan's climate is characterized by low precipitation, low cloudiness and high evaporation. And most of the country is covered by the Karakum or Black Sand Desert. The Karakum or the Black Sand Desert. Moving further, it possesses the world's 4th largest reserves of natural gas. Also, the oil in Turkmenistan is of very high grade, which can be used both as fuel as well as raw material for chemical production. Turkmenistan is also a member of United Nations, the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, Asian Development Bank, Economic Cooperation Organization, the Organization of Islamic Countries, and the Food and Agriculture Organization. Its principal trading partners include China, Turkey, Russia, and the United Arab Emirates. But Turkmenistan has poor human rights. Also, the vast majority of people in Turkmenistan are Muslim, mostly Sunni Muslims. Well, that's about Turkmenistan. Let's move on to our next location, and that is Chile. Recently, Chile was in news as it is all set to become the second country to grant rights to nature in its constitution after Ecuador. Now, both Chile and Ecuador are South American countries. Let's see where is Chile located. If we talk about location of Chile, it is a western part. It is situated in the western part of South America. The capital and largest city is Santiago, and its national language is Spanish. As you can see, it occupies a long and narrow strip of land between Andes in the east. So in the eastern side, we have the Andes mountain ranges and Pacific Ocean to the west. Here we have Pacific Ocean and here we have the Atlantic Ocean. Also, Chile is the southernmost country in the world and it is closest to Antarctica. If we talk about borders, it shares land borders with Peru, Peru to the north, Bolivia to the northeast, Argentina to the east, and in the far south, we have a passage that is known by the name Drake Passage. So we have the political map of South America. South America is the fourth largest continent in the world and it has 12 sovereign countries plus 2 dependencies. Dependencies, that means these areas are governed by some other country. First of all is the French Guiana, that is, as the name suggests, it belongs to France, and another one is the Falkland Island in the south that belongs to the United Kingdoms. Now, South America hosts many important geographical locations. First of all is the Andes mountain range. So we have the Andes mountain range that extends in the western part of South America. So the Andes mountain ranges are nothing but an extension of the western Cordilleras from North America, or the western mountain range of North America. These are now the Andes mountain range is considered to be the longest mountain range or the longest continental mountain range, that is about 7,000 kilometers long. The entire mountain range can be divided into North Andes, Central Andes and the Southern Andes. If we talk about Central Andes, it has a bit wider stretch, so much so that it almost forms a plateau, which is known by the name the Andean Bolivian Plateau or the Antiplano. That is the second highest plateau of the world. And as we know, the highest is the Tibetan Plateau, that is in East Asia. Another important geographical feature is the Lake Titicaca. Now, Lake Titicaca is the largest lake in South Asia and also it is the highest freshwater lake in the world. With that, it is also the highest navigable lake in the world. It is situated at an elevation of 3,810 meters. So this is Lake Titicaca. Then we have the Atacama Desert. Now, Atacama Desert is considered to be the driest place on earth. The Atacama Desert. The Atacama Desert is sandwiched between the Andes mountain ranges to the east and the Chilean coast to the west. Also, another geographically important location is Mount Aconcagua, that is situated somewhere around here. The Mount Aconcagua. That is the highest peak in the Andes mountain ranges and also the highest peak outside of Asia. Another important thing is the highest volcano in the world, that is the highest active volcano that is situated between the borders of Chile and Argentina, and it is named as Hojas del Salado. Another important geographical location is the highest waterfall of the world, that is the Angel Falls, that is situated in Venezuela. The Angel Falls, and this is around 979 meters. That makes it to be the highest natural waterfall in the world. Another important physical feature of South America is the Amazon River system. And Amazon River system is the largest river of the world by volume. And then we also have the Patagonia Desert. Patagonia is cold shrubby grasslands that is majorly situated in Argentina. So we have the Patagonia Desert. Now if we talk about Chile. So about 10,000 years ago, migrating indigenous people settled in the fertile valleys and coastal areas of what is known to be present-day Chile. Now in 1520, While attempting to circumnavigate the globe, Ferdinand Magellan discovered the southern passage, which is now named after him. That is the Strait of Magellan. As you can see, this passage, this is known to be the Strait of Magellan. He became the first European to set foot on what is now known as the present-day Chile. If we talk about climate and topography of Chile, the diverse climate of Chile ranges from world's driest desert in the north, that is the Atacama Desert, as you have seen in the map, through a Mediterranean climate in the center and humid subtropical climate in the Easter Islands. Now, Easter Islands are part of Chile that is situated to the west of Chile mainland, to an oceanic climate including alpine tundra and glaciers in the east and south. One important thing is that Chile is located along highly seismic and volcanic zone that is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire due to the subduction of two continental plates, that is the Nazca and Antarctic plates in the South American plate. Some of the resources found in Chile are copper, which makes about 20% of Chilean GDP and 60% of its exports. And overall, Chile produces a third of world's copper, and also the world's largest copper mine, that is Escondida, is located in Chile, that produces over 5% of the global supplies. In addition, Chile is also rich in mineral resources such as lithium. Well, that's all for Chile. Let's move on to our next location. Let's move on to our next location, that is in Afghanistan, and that is known as May Ainak. May Ainak was recently in news as the Taliban regime in Afghanistan said it would protect the ancient Buddha statues in May Ainak, which is also a site for copper mine where the Taliban are hoping for Chinese investment. Now, if we look into the map, the May Ainak region is located 40 kilometers southeast of Kabul, Afghanistan. That is located in a barren region of Logar province. This particular is the Logar province of Afghanistan. Now, this region is important to Afghanistan as it contains Afghanistan's largest copper deposits, and it is also home to remains of an ancient settlement with over 400 Buddha statues, stupas, and a 100-acre of monastery complex. This is an ancient site that contains artifacts from Bronze Age, and some of the artifacts recovered have dated back to around 3000 years. Now, the presence of copper at May Ainak has been known for some time, while the site's archaeological wealth had been discovered by Russian and Afghan geologists around 1973. This region was at a peak of its prosperity between the 5th and 7th century AD. Another one are the Bamiyan Buddha statues of the Bamiyan Valley. These were destroyed earlier by the Taliban regime. Now, the Bamiyan Valley in the Hindu Kush mountains and along River Bamiyan was a key node of early Silk Route, emerging as hub for both cultural and commercial exchange. Now, according to UNESCO, the rise of Bamiyan was closely connected with the spread of Buddhism across Central Asia, and that in turn was linked to the political and economic currents of that time. The statues of Bamiyan Buddha dates back to around 5th century AD and were once the tallest standing Buddha statues in the world. Now, these two statues were named Salsal and Shamama by the locals, and they rose to a height of around 55 and 38 meters respectively. So, Salsal means light shines through the universe, while the second one, Shamama, that meant Queen Mother. So, this was a little bit about Bamiyan Buddhas and May Ainak. Well, that's a wrap of today's edition of Places in News. For regular updates, you can follow us on our social media handles. To see more such videos, do stay tuned to the next IAS YouTube channel.